And from what I've seen in the past when they, for example, played against Apeks, I would 100% agree. It's extremely enjoyable what they're capable of delivering. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. With a power-up of the likes of a Crucial, Robin with always having this already long-term experience in Counter-Strike, it's gonna be very amazing. And I mean, we don't need to talk about Surreal and Mighty Max. So they start off, and as we see, Endpoint over here on the CT side can absolutely demolish at least Truth. But Grusar and Co are coming fairly close, and this is becoming a bit of a problem for Surreal, but his USPS shots are on point, doesn't see the one on the left-hand side, and that makes it now critical. The majority of Endpoint is still alive, but that has now been cut down to 2. Max and Robin both got nothing else than just their pure bodies. Now body armor, nothing of that. Robin, beneficial to them. Smoke, well, as a kit. A 2v2 like that can't be easily won. The Glock is doing major damage to you at that point in time. Where 20 bullets in your direction that don't even have to be that accurate will be devastating regarding the aim punch. Mighty Max right now ruling out ground as the IGL moves over along. Robin should have the awareness what's up. Coming closer to the site of B. And he's actively taking duels or waiting for the retake as he has the smoke. It's fairly possible. That's about to be discussed. Robin fails. Man, it was... The unfortunate part of it was even one of the men were fairly low in HP. Akis shouldn't have stand a chance. But as I say that, Mighty Max with 46 points of health is trying to make that one work. So they move on. Mighty Max comes in. Could get the first. Still, how is this man actually alive? It's becoming a riddle for me at that point. The man still wiggles around, tries to bait them out a little bit. No chance in the end. Nice try from Mighty Max, but this failed miserably for Endpoint. As they were holding it up for a long, long time, it didn't go according to plan. And as things are meta-adapted, I'm very much enjoying to see that. I'm very much enjoying to see a double Bison. And that double Bison, I mean, I'm still doubting this meta. Really, the Bison becoming so viable is 64 shots going in every single direction is just odd. Robin, oh what? He gets Akis in the end. I mean, it worked to some degree. Markalicious is actually thinking, wait a minute, is he back on the other side of toilets? He's misreading the situation when it was just simply a shot for the smoke. Already Faction makes a move on his own. Truth starting to pick up a little bit of an advantageous weapon, to say it like that, but the deagles are still in the hands of the Endpoint players. And that gives them a quite good opportunity to keep them at bay, not allow them too much. So Mighty Max locks off the door for the moment, but that's not even the position. Surreal realizes long it's gonna be that Molotov's gonna help big time. As he once more tries to delay them, does he really want to peek through? He does, and he's buying himself a bit of more time, but could die in the process. That is the case. Crucial falls! No, pardon, that's Truth. That's Markalicious, and it's gonna be Grusarin. To be the final Norwegian falling to the Endpoint site. Actually surprising to see that one work that well, as they can't even pick up free upgrades. I wouldn't have expected that to be the case. Either way. So it becomes somewhat sinister. I mean, the deagles being a quite good investment for a great jump start, if you get what I'm saying. As they hold 2 players in front of Monster, the rest of the crew starts to try to pick up the pace over there. Into the toilets. That's not happening. Robin and Chris will do the job, and the rest comes down to Mighty Max. He's getting Apeks to capitulate over there on Monster. 3 frags coming in. Quite easy for them. Eco seems inevitable for the Norwegian crew, as this is most likely going to help Endpoints to boost their own economy. I want to see that one in shambles anytime soon. As for CT, it's more difficult to pick up quite decent economy in that direction. Especially the T economy with the recent changes has profited to some degree. I mean, the Tech 9 becoming very viable for $500. The Bison costs 1.4. It has been a very interesting change. Very generally speaking. A very interesting change. So, frags should come in. It would be beneficial if nobody of the CT are dying, but that happened in the end. It's only crucial, but 8K speak for themselves. And regarding Overpass, because it is the first map we're seeing here, second one is going to be Vertigo, picked by Endpoint, and the final one is going to be Dust 2, in case we're going that far. Overpass proved to be a map where Endpoint can't really get any grip when switching to the T sides. 62% of the rounds they have played on Overpass in the last 3 months have been won on the CT side. On the T side, they really struggle to pick up any pace. So, for Apeks, their main goal must be to take as many rounds right now, because they will most definitely profit from playing CT. As Endpoint themselves have not really proved that they're capable of being the aggressors. So they take a bit more grounds. Over toilets, they find crucial. That opens up the gates towards the A side a little bit. Depends on what Zarin can do. And as his spray is taking a bit of time, Robin falls. So only 2 players remain. The 2 Brits, Thomas and Surreal. Let's see where they end up. He joins the B site, he will suddenly see that every single corner is clear. Endpoint left that one. And if they really consider to go for that retake, I mean, they have a lot of money, and those players have big potential for themselves, but they most definitely profit from not throwing away so much equipment. I mean, Surreal himself has around 7K on himself at the moment. I mean, sure, with 5.8 you can buy up, but you also got to help a crucial, give him some financial aid. So they move backwards. Apeks find themselves the second, and as they get the weapons in their hands, it's all looking fine for the moment. I'm actually very satisfied with what we have so far seen from the wonderful team Endpoints. I mean, once more considering this is absolutely not their map, I think that's a crucial thing you really have to take care of. And by the way, thanks to Pete, who's making this one possible. Obviously from the Endpoint side, who could have guessed? Let's see how much more Endpoint can get out of Overpass. Vertigo is their choice, but we're far away from that, as pretty much Akis and Grusarin are lining up here. Free frag for Robin. Markalicious seems to have a bit of an awareness over the A-long player. He's taken the ground and is whiffing his shot, but luckily for him, his counterpart doesn't hit anything as well. Only puts him down to 75. And so their new objective has been set. It's going to be the B sites and the flashbang landing deep. If it's going to get Surreal, yes indeed, Thomas as well. And now the problems start to rise. If Mighty Max has no chance in stopping them and getting onto the site, this one will collapse massively. And Truth is hiding quite well. Molotov gives him a bit of damage as he moves backwards. And So they really set themselves up for a proper retake, but Crucial has a problem with the opponents taking that much ground, and so it's True falling. Robin comes in closer and closer as Markalicious falls. Ready Faction waits back on short. I mean, the most obvious positions of them all. Still waits and waits, and the nade goes deep. Robin has to fall. Can he buy enough time is the question. Robin is back on it. And that's enough for the defuse. The 5-second mark is going to work all fine. But Endpoint with big casualties and also letting their opponent plant. This is not a round by the book. He had a good bunch of entries. At that point, you thought there's no way they're going to let that one collapse. A bit of a problem you might have seen from the previous round was, I'm not 100% who it was. Was it Thomas? I can't tell. Was waiting in front of Monster without anyone having the capability of refragging him, with a perfect flashbang coming, the so-called nose flash, at least that's what you call it in German. That one became a quite free frag for Apeks, and then they really got the momentum going for themselves. But here we go. Back live we are. So Endpoint with the 4th round for themselves. Let's see what's going to happen with that. Thomas with a perfect boost, but do they know about the player who pushed short? That's the extremely important awareness you need right now, and Thomas has it. No trespassing for Ready Faction as he gets demolished. A perfect flashbang from Crucial. It's going to be exactly what you're looking for. And suddenly the Norwegians are struggling to keep players alive. Markalicious as well as Grusarn, which is a, by the way, wonderful Scandinavian name. Typical, I mean, I don't know really, so it could be a little far-fetched, but typical, good-sounding Scandinavian. I want to look like a Viking name. Sorry. As Marcellus and Grusarn are starting to move up. That shouldn't be any problem for Endpoint. Surreal's trying to get a bit of attention, does so. Apeks is falling. Nobody is dealing any major damage to Endpoints. So Apeks, I'm very happy to see the Endpoint. The Tech 9 back in game, and Grusarn falls. All right then, I'm a little bit surprised as Ready Faction picks up another frag onto Robin. Suddenly Endpoint are down by a good bit, and as I have learned, Marcelius, please pardon the mistake in that one. I hope you can understand that this is looking like an invitation to say Mark Elias. So Mighty Max trying to get a bit of information by jumping and seeing through the windshield of the truck. Apeks is putting their opponent in a very uncomfortable spot. This is a bit of a deja vu Endpoint is facing. As I say it. Celius. Falling in the end. Truth, Keys as well as Ready Faction remain. And so Mighty Max and his crew got to do a bit of a cleanup right here. Does that one work as well as according to plan? Ready Faction is still alive on the site, but the man is just down to 14 points of health. His chances are limited, and most definitely that one is not going according to plan. Yet again, Endpoint Can't keep all those players alive. Marcelius. Okay, I've learned something. Alright then. So Real falls and Endpoint is taking a bit of a more aggressive stance. I can't really see the reasoning for that. I mean, it worked out in that sense that they now got a bit of attention, pardon, control and aggression working for themselves. Yet if that would have failed, and Apeks was not necessarily even ready for that, but setting themselves up properly, that would have been very scary. And now that awareness from Apeks needs to pretty much rely on Grusarn. As Robin waits back on long, he might just get a free frag. He does so, and Grusarn falls, making this way more possible. Moves around the site. Smoke is still in the hands of Crucial to block any vision. Marcelius is moving back. He even gets Robin whilst running. The AK does its work. And they have done it in the past so often. In the playoffs, their Ninja Diffuse has been somewhat infamous, but Crucial falls, and Marcelius brings it down as though Endpoint had a big bunch of control in the beginning of the round, pushing Monster, and afterwards even taking more control. They still fail. And Apeks gonna say thank you for that one. That round belongs to us. So Mighty Max and his crew gotta see where they end up on. As their previous round ended as a, yeah, I mean, you have to say disastrous to some degree from what it was based on. Apeks play a bit more of a slow style, taking a long control for the moment. So Real now gained information about one player, at least on A-Mon. So Relegation shot, giving Endpoint a bit of an idea that they still gotta pay attention to the B site. This is not free ground. So he keeps them bound, and Relegation might just even try to bait out a bit more of attention whilst they have now made it onto the site. And look at that! Grusarn has moved so far. This looks sinister for Apeks. As if Relegation failed a little more, his teammate can't do much about it. And unfortunately for him, he had such a good peak on this, really. I mean, the way he pushed through banks seemed exactly like that what you're looking for, but the rest of his teammates are like dominoes. It's Real just pushes through. Grusarn makes that one work. Robin, the last man alive, and he fails! Grusarn, and you know, some were taunting him, but now he performs, and he's becoming the clutch hero, giving Apeks the 4th round. And Endpoint's gotta consider they want to force that one or eco, but I mean, with more than 2k or 2k, definitely go for the most reasonable approach. I mean, the losing bonus itself is quite fine. It's a bit of an absurd 1 versus 3 they've been playing here. It seemed like they could just easily gain that control and felt a lot like it, but you still really gotta consider that those rounds can still be lost. I mean, it sounds a little dumb, right? At 1v3, you're in most situations like, yeah, I'm gonna win that. I'm gonna push him real quick, but that maybe works when you're smurfing, when both of them are free. Sounds a little harsh, don't get me wrong. It's sometimes a misplay. And again, Endpoint not a big fan of the map from a statistical point of view. Whilst their Vertigo looked on point in many, many occasions. And especially what I have to say, Endpoint playing a map where they majorly are not the favorite on are still doing a quite good job. Considering they have a bye in the next one, and then possibly heading to, say, 8-4. With even the possibility of getting 11, but let's say they get 8 rounds. That's still a decent position to be in. A really decent position to be in. So as they were trying to get exit frags, at least 1 kill found on Ready Faction. This is still a good job, considering they didn't invest anything. And let's see what kind of first-class play Endpoint is coming up with. Again, this is just not any game. This is just not the first round of the qualifier or the first round of the playoffs. This is the ticket to the second highest league, the ESL universe. The MDL is just waiting around the corner for both teams. Both are just so hungry to get back in that position. Endpoint was in the MDL in the past, if I'm not totally wrong. I think Apeks never was. I'm not even sure if a Norwegian team, a majorly Norwegian team ever was, but I'm going to see if that's going to happen. In the meantime, Apeks has taken the route over on a monster, and Surreal can capitalize on that still. Mighty Max back on site. Got a good chance to buy his teammates some time, but Truth just dances around that molly and makes it work against Mighty Max. Sometimes it can pay off to be ballsy, and in this situation, Robin needs to consider if he really wants to be that ballsy. As he tries to get the player back on site, 110 HP overall on Endpoint are not a big invitation. Crucial moves up, sees Grusan, and Grusan fails to make that one work. Doesn't even get a single shot onto Crucial, but Truth is not done yet. Finds the first, dances around, but Crucial does it, and puts Endpoint in the lead. So, strong Endpoint. Got actually in a very shaky state right here. But they start to slowly blossom. And just using the time right here, I hope all of you are staying safe. I hope you already washed your hands. I hope you're not on Tinder too much throughout those days. I know it's hard, but take care of yourself. That being said, let's take a look at it. Ready Faction trying to gain a lot of attention towards B, whilst Crucial and Co can already rule out B shorts. Celius, I hope I said it right this time around, having somewhat of a very good awareness about the long player. Thomas just wiggles around, and he's just trying to get the playground control, which is extremely beneficial at that point, but let's say it like this, the A side is fairly open. And Robin most definitely can come up with some hero play. Saw the first, saw it falls. Thomas, silent move. Back through long to the side of A. Here's the Toil players for sure. He has a big awareness right now. He has a big bunch of information that he can give to his teammates, which are rotating fairly fast. As True falls, though he really pretty much fought about Apeks being that nearby. With only ACAS as well as Marcelius left. Make that a Marcelius only. So far, he didn't have too much to say. And if he's able to win that 1 versus 3, different story. Seems somewhat unwinnable, especially as everybody Just trying to defend the one lad who's right now defusing. And as I say that, Brazilian falling down. Crucial taking a few more bullets into his leg, but that's pretty much it. And like I said, 8 rounds for Endpoint on this map specifically. I enjoy to see it because this is not that usual. Against, you know, the difference for me is I unfortunately don't know much about Apeks. This is the thing, right? The way they played against Apeks was a bit of a problem, but Apeks, alternate Apeks, the German team, is extremely structured. A guy like Scrunk, who's the IGL of them, watches demo after demo after demo, and will have a quite good read on you. So this is where I see the difference already. In Apeks, though I unfortunately don't know too much about the squad. The time when they played alternate, they found 6 rounds as a CT. 3 less than right now, but still 6 rounds. And when they switched on the T side, the British squad didn't find, well, let's say anything. You have to put it that way. So, let's take a look. Apeks are going to take left lane Autobahn play to directly head onto the side of B. Mighty Max is going to be the first one hit by the car. Surreal and Cole hold behind the smokes. Definitely a good way to abuse it, what your opponent has dropped there on the site. And he keeps on playing it like that. They have zero vision. And Surreal knows there's someone near to barrels. Last one, Marcelius, and last one to fall is him as well. 10-5 is impressive for Endpoint. It sounds like I'm really trying to play them down on this. But Apeks knew why they would pick this map. They knew that they are the ones who are coming in with the highest win rates of the two. Obviously, I mean, 100%. And yet again, a bit of a surprise. I mean, that they are ending like this. I would have really seen Apeks pick up, 8-7. They're still switching over, and if Apeks are having the right kind of cool mindset, where they're aware of how much they can, bounce back to, first of all, knowing that their opponent is not that strong on the T side, and second of all, believing in themselves. I mean, the times they play, for example, against a Salamander or against the Prima, it was Apeks shining more, actually, on the T side than on the CT side. Yeah, it's a different opponent, it's a different time. And as they sneak through, Apeks is taking all the control over A, everything towards Fountain, Connector's gonna be next. That's all nice and great, but Endpoint's on the site. And they're building now big time pressure onto Apeks. As Surreal though falls, they will come in from every angle you can imagine. Every single one. So they can make that one. Marcelius moving through, doing the jump. Crucial says, you're not getting any closer than that. And as Struve, though, takes one down, he's on the pedestal, knowing that he's up above. And Mighty Max says, let the king fall. 11th round for Endpoint, and they start off strong on the T site. There comes the force. And Max and Co. had a lot of problems in the first half regarding pistol vice coming in from Apeks. The Deagles did major damage on the mainly British team. And as I say that, ouch. Losing his head every time. So much Fields and Co, but massively benefit from this. I mean, take a look at Robin. He himself down to 38. Akers is sneaking in from behind. Could find Surreal first of all. A few body shots would do the job, but now he's giving away the information to all of his teammates. Apeks is rotating every single player back over the side of A. And there he finds one. That Deagle makes it work. Robin to be the last man standing. And again, the Norwegians are flexing on their force skills. Endpoint with surely a 5-round advantage. But that one can break down easily. We know it. I mean, if you watch Counter-Strike once a week, you know how easily those things can turn around so massively. So goddamn massively. And I have to say, really, this lineup of Endpoints, which came originally from X Epsilon, which was Phoenix, which did change after change after change after change, is still something that is extremely impressive for me personally. And I personally think, especially the move they have made, has been actually impressive. I think Endpoint did everything right with this one. You know, British CS is a meme. Everybody's calling it a meme or something, but it's still good what they're doing. It's still quite decent what they're doing. I mean, in the Premiership right now, they're also leading, though they've only played one game so far. Next. Definitely an interesting team to look out for in the future. As for the moment, the only thing that matters is this best of 3, because it can be a ticket into, I mean, the Europe League of Counter-Strike. EPL being the Champions League. For the moment, Robin's no access granted, but Crucial is breaking down the blockade. Now Marcelius and co have a bit of a task up ahead of them. It's a bit of an unusual task to say it like this. They hardly were collapsing to those forces, as now there is a good chance coming up ahead of them. Thomas takes down Relegation. Mighty Max is elaborating on it, and the ZZ does the job. Endpoint, they put Apeks back in their spot. No big chance for them to right now get any big money. The 4 seems inevitable. Rusarn most likely picking up, I don't know, Deagle. Yeah, could have been a 5-7 as well, but I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how long can Endpoint keep this running. And they should be quite good at keeping this running, because they have, first of all, a very strong mentality of comebacks, but in this situation, if they feel comfortable, and not overconfident, but comfortable in it, seems to be a good possibility of picking up a win. And the story of this is the worst, because if Endpoint finds this 13-6, Apeks most likely gonna eco it with a high likelihood of losing it 14-6. You should never say never. That's true if 15 HP is running away from their opponent. He falls, and that's Marcelius. An insane chance. He's not making that one work. Here comes the eco. Apeks need an exemplary mindset right now to come back into this game. And not only that, that's the first step. It needs to be a model comeback that they deliver. If they do so, we don't know. We're gonna find out. But dark times, the clouds over Nuremberg are getting thicker and thicker. As nope, this map is not based in Berlin. Either way, see what Truth can do. Finds one, but not much more than that. Robin is coming to join his teammates. will have the right angle, but actually failed with the second. That's a free AK into the hands of Marcelius. Most definitely would do himself a favor by just saving that one. So he tries. Happen. Endpoint will most definitely not join the hunt on the final player of Apeks sites. If you're wondering, we can take a little look on stats for the moment. This ADR, by the way, is not 100% representative as it only picks up the second half. Either way, strong job from Crucial, Mighty Max, and Thomas as they really come up with the big numbers. Soren as well as Relegation failing over on Apeks, just from an ADR point of view. Stats don't tell us everything, but gives us a bit of an idea. Let's say it like that. Another pause. In call at the moment. Endpoint are 2 rounds away from success, and that's exactly what they need. Exactly what they are looking for. Overall, a bit of a sad story, which, I mean, a bit surprising. Surreal can't really put up any big numbers for the moment. It doesn't need to in that sense. I mean, the thing is, when you take a closer look at it, and unfortunately my peanut brain can't remember at all, and my peanut memory is even worse, if you don't get any opponents coming to your side, you hardly can do anything. So, Surreal might just got fragged at unfortunate moments, unfortunate times. And he's like sitting there on 40 ADR and he can't even do anything about it. But that doesn't even matter. His teammates are coming up full force, and Apeks, the last glimpse of hope, the last breath of a nearly dead body, as things could collapse anytime soon. Celius, one step too far. Just a little step. He's out of that one. Definitely heard the step. Like he's making a lot of noise, and the timing is unbelievable. The second he moves, he's going to be called out. That's unfortunate for him. Either way, Endpoint. Done by a good bit. Surreal remains to be the final man left on the British side. You gotta do this one with Artifice, but 4 versus 1, always a complicated scenario. And so Apeks have reached the half of the rounds that Endpoint have already received down on themselves. Now you're gonna play it by the book. Down to earth, no overly fancy stuff. Play what used to work, and you get it rolling for yourself. Apeks is trying to hold them up from any control tower's playground anytime soon. They leave a lot of room. A real significant amount, a lot of room. And brilliant shot against Marcelius is giving them right now a big opportunity and also a big gap into the system of Apeks. As this shifts Aki's over to the other side, he's only covered by Grusoran and Relegation. Endpoint with a very good entry and a very good opportunity. Aki seems to be fairly ready what's coming his way, which doesn't change the matter of fact that there's still a good bunch of time left, and utility for an Apeks is not going to be enough to hold them up for long. They're fortifying the A site. The minimap is going to tell us that Grusoran is making a move. Oh no, and Aki, he's nearby, he's going to fall. Only a trait he gets. That's not really helping the Norwegian side for the moment, which is becoming a problem though is Relegation, because if he's not on the radar for Endpoint, this one could go horribly wrong. And as they trade frags, they gotta get on the side anytime soon. Thomas knows and gets that player who thought that lurking and flanking would pay off overall. But here's the call. It's going to be B. Rusarin, the only man to make a change right now. 20 seconds to change things up. Knows that one is back in water. And Thomas is going to stick his head out anytime soon. Sees him. Eliminates him in time. Endpoint with the 15th on a map they have a big problem finishing. And I'm going to say that again. Apeks has a 100% win rate on this one. A 100% win. Not just anything. They're really performing. Usually. Most of the time. Seems like they're going to be locked up anytime soon. Marcelius is getting himself a nice high ground. It's not going to help him at all to get any frags early on in the game. And so, they might be damned to lose. They might be damned to lose. As though Crucial falls. Ikis moves backwards. Baits Mighty Max. And now they know where the bomb is. That's a little advantage they have. He shouldn't really go any further than that. As though the flashbang is brilliantly supportive. So they take their time. No stress. Once more flanking around. Grusarin as well as his teammate Truth. Pardon, Grusarin as well as his teammate Ready Faction are doing the same they've been doing over again. Mighty Max now need to be 100% ready. They flanked before. They're going to do that one again. Left hand side. Can't find the kill. Grusarin with way too many, but do they expect a second? No, they don't. And that's the big problem. And Robin's like, yeah, now what? "30 seconds to grab that one back from spawn." Surviving, first of all, but grabbing that one back from spawn. Not gonna be big fun. Especially when you consider that there's not too much money left on the Endpoint site. And again, I mean, the push was something they have done in the previous round, seemingly expecting it, the Endpoint crew. Yet we're failing to find the second one, which was fairly surprising in that sense. But last move towards shorts and putting a lot of pressure onto Apeks as Robin sees Surreal dying that way. I mean, that was a bit of a gift, honestly. That one as well. Doing it one by one that way is certainly absurd when they had the opportunity, for example, wide swing together or at least refrac each other, but alright. That's the way it is. So, Truth. Might just be the right move. Out the door anytime soon. One of the opponents is blinded, and he's still alive! What in God's name is that? Mighty Max the final man on the ground, but alright then. Eco is inevitable for Endpoint, and suddenly the double digits are coming in for Apeks. Scary. Extremely scary for Endpoint by now. A little bit of a shocker that it goes that far. Would not need to be the case. So, Drew with the first, gets Robin in the end. I'm very much looking forward to finding a little more of that. I mean, one CT down would be great. That's not gonna be the case. Here we go. 15-10. It shouldn't end at that disaster. I don't believe it's gonna be that disaster. I would be very surprised. The last point, I mean, last is wrong. The 1 point, it's very possible. It's extremely possible. There are not too many obstacles. I mean, Endpoint have done it in the past 2 rounds a good bunch of times. So, Mighty Max. And they really want to make this one a astute, solid, buy-the-book play by now. And so they want to take, obviously, the control towards toilets. In the middle. Smoke lands. Yeah, exactly where I expected. So Apeks does not see a thing. The A side is open. Nobody, but legitimately nobody's covering that. They remain extremely patient over on B. It's a matter of time until a rotation comes. It's a matter of time until problems start to rise. Thomas might be killed anytime soon. He needs to check the toilets. They're not flanking this way around. And Apeks gets one. This becomes the problem. They're not checking from behind. The bomb is still left into toilets. But he's dead by now. Marcelius back on long. 2 coming and lurking over the connector area. As Ready Faction is cut off. It's becoming a problem for Endpoint. So many corners to check. Surreal is not dead. As this one could have gotten way too hot for him. Still survives. And the full force of Endpoint is now needed. The full aggression not happening. Robin in a 2 versus 4. As things become sinister. He's falling as well. Surreal is down. And there to do it. A brilliant move by Apeks, and goodness gracious, that retake was on point. Another round. Another round coming the way of Apeks. And I'm getting scared. I'm genuinely getting scared right now for Endpoint. Is Robin just right now trying out the jumping accuracy? I mean, come on. It's the wrong time. Wait, come on. I mean, I know it's a cool feature, I agree. I really agree on that, but... Oh, H3 said, it's time to stop. Let's see if Squad's going to put a stop to it. Short control remains. The nade doesn't do too much. Grisarn is actually not blind. His teammate is. That flashbang didn't go according to plan at all. Oh, good. And the nerfs are seemingly getting to them. Endpoint need a single round. Mike Max is best with the Eagle. Not much coming in. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. It's now 5 rounds in a row. We're losing right now. And Mighty Max starts off good. Knows that the AWP is back towards long. So crucial. Moving a bit more forward towards the toilet section. Relegation again. Holding the toilets for themselves, moving backwards. Here's the thing. 1 minute is more than enough to make it work with exactly that man advantage. They can only play, 2-2, obviously. Surely there are more options to it, but the big problem once more happening is that Apeks can rule it out. Truth can make a move right now back onto the A site, and Endpoint gotta decide. They gotta make a decision at this point in time. Do you actually go A or not? 35 more seconds to make that one work. The smokes are all landing. Marcelius can be the heroic op as he waits back, finds the first. Surreal down, second one not granted. Thomas is nearby. He's gonna find his head as well. And this is possibly right now the Marcelius show! Finds another! Could go for the scope. Nope, not happening. Crucial gotta end this on his own. 15 seconds for the Dutchman to right now perform by the book and be the hero for the Endpoint site. But Truth is just waiting around it. And there's no chance. Endpoint. I don't know what's going on with their nerfs. I don't know what it is, but it's getting absolutely dangerous. And Marceli is staying alive there for what felt like an eternity. It actually felt like he was alive for way too long. And man, oh man, this is costing Endpoint not only time, but it's costing them nerves. And possibly, at the end of the day, this could cost them the map. The worst of it all. This is the Apeks pick where they have 100% win rate. And it's painful to watch. You gotta be honest. Whilst Apeks is doing everything right, and I think I said it at a scoreline of 6-11 or something, Apeks need a by-the-book model mindset to make that one work. And seemingly do. Thomas running in, gratification with what a great flick. But that's the round. That's the round. We're at this point getting there. Would be Kafkaesque to say it like that. An Endpoint coming in the same process again and again and being so close and close and close. And yet they fail. At least for the moment. It's not happening yet. So let's see. Apeks having Truth down to 69 is no big deal for the moment. Is the most passive move possible. And this one out as good as just possible. And so he's blind, but do you really want to mess with that AWP on that long range? Especially when there's a support flash coming in from somebody like Akes. And that's incredible. Pole lands just directly in front of him. Marcelius find Robin, doesn't do so yet, but saw the blood, saw his head, and Mighty Max is not the next casualty. That's the thing. But he knows. He just knows what's up. as they move towards the B sites. It's a man who can just make the big difference. And with 20 seconds, this pressure is so high. Truth on the high ground. He's gonna find the both. Yes, indeed. We go into overtime. And if you would right now see my facial expression, I think you wouldn't believe me. 8 rounds in a row. 8 rounds in a row. Endpoint, we're suffering. Exceptional Endpoint, you have to say. Back when we were talking about their CT sites, Apeks could really get a big grip on them. Ended it 10-5, impressively enough. And at that point, if they got into a brilliant start, finding another free from the beginning on. Endpoint's gotta really power through this. Max speed. Sorry if that one was loud. Pardon. But I had to switch from right hand to left hand. I just noticed I'm always playing left hand. It's this weird left-hander attitude, you know. I'm not quite sure if I'm actually the only person in the world who plays Counter-Strike with the mouse on his left-hand side. I feel like a lot like it. I feel a lot like it. So, restart is in. 16K. Both parties. They can still make that one work. It's time to shine for both parties. Apeks have done an absurdly good job in getting this round for themselves, or more likely this far for themselves. It's crucial. So desperately looking for anyone coming into his crosshair. He saw Grusarin. Actually, nothing's happening. You know, the last time they were successful on this map was against alternate attacks, where Endpoint was able to, you know, establish themselves a double overtime win. It took a while, for sure. But they made that one work. As Marsilius finds the first, he stays in the all-in-one position, and yes, the all-in pays off. Gotta smoke his teammate. They both don't want to die on the fire, and Marsilius, it's time to die. That finally happens. Robin gets Scandinavian mate as they find one frag after another, and so only Grusarin as well as Relegation. The two remaining soldiers, both are mollying the same position. Communication is a bit off. That at least seems to be the case. And so two 100 HP players make a move to let that incident still go their way. Robin, far away from the site, goes back into toilets where his teammate stands. He tries to pick up the op. I mean, he has 10 HP, I understand that point, but he can't spray through. They don't have a kit, this is the big problem. And, Robin reads it. Brilliant job by him. And the next one running in is Relegation. The round they were looking for comes in overtime. Endpoint with the 16th. Just now. Just now. the moment. Oof, such an ink. Where are they actually coming from? Was that a boost again? No. Got that one. Either way, Endpoint. Their time to shine and to finally get something working on this T site. As they slowly move through toilets. So they're coming. Roof falls down. And at that point in time, Endpoint able to find another one. It would be so crucial. Ironically, a little bit of a wordplay, but it's gonna be the B site. They're taking. Oh no! And that one from Crucial is actually painful for them. He can deny the planter's work with one shot. It's a real whiff in smoke as well. At least finding Relegation, but this bomb, it's not gonna make it. At least it pretty much shouldn't. They know a secret player is standing there. Robin says, "Whatever. I'm just gonna push through." Marcelius is gonna find the first. He knows where Robin stands! Oh, what a shot that is! An Apeks with the 16 save by the Opper. As he just strips the head off the Swede. There's no chance. The Vikings prevail. And they take another round, or more likely their first round in this overtime. The Savior has a name, and it's called Marcelius. So many things went wrong previous to that. Either way, Endpoint can get a number 17 right now, and this would be so pivotal. As Crucial and Co are most definitely looking for much more at that point in time. And that boost is not really going to help them, as he could be standing on the flower pots of Long, but no information on that. So again, it's going to be toilets. We're leaving Thomas in front of Monster to get Eddie rotated. I mean, we've seen in the past how Apeks has a massive tendency of not over-rotating, but lurking around once there's no big information. Sagusarin tries to do so. I'm quite sure Thomas knows by now where at least one of them stands. And with that information gained, his team is waiting back on short. Waiting back to make any move anytime soon. To better their own situation. It'd be time for an excellent play. And Thomas with finding Relegation, that would be an excellent start. They're going to kiss in the smoke anytime soon. Relegation, he knows what to do, and Endpoint falls left, right, and center. Mighty Max with that smoke can't do much as he takes it on Haven. Marcelius prevails. Crucial most likely won't stand a chance. Whatever he's trying to do, this one would work. As those fraggers are coming in, are looking beautiful. That round is done and dusted. See it. 17th round comes in for the Norwegian squad that has never lost this map in the last 3 months. Never saw them being defeated. And at one point I thought, like, this is finally Endpoint breaking this streak. I would have actually really much enjoyed that, as we were playing good CS during the first half of this map. And in the second one, they were starting us strong, you know? It looked like everything could go down according to plan. And it's round after round after round after round. 8 in a row. They were losing. 8 in a row. And Apeks was never in the lead, except the one time they won the pistol. That was round number 1. scary scenario, but like I said, the mindset and the endurance of Apeks seems to pay off. But it's time to play flawless endpoints. And if they're capable of doing so, we're gonna find out anytime soon. In the meantime, it feels like it's been an eternity until we saw Apeks actually switch to the T site. Man, oh man. Either way, setting themselves up in front of B, whilst when you take a look at the minimap, Crusard got a good bit of control towards the upper side of Connector, as well as what's happening in front of Toilets. Could try to bait out a bit more information. You see that right now happening. Thomas is moving away. AK's moves out like that. And suddenly, 3 Norwegians are falling left, right, and center. Endpoint with big control and Relegation. Last man standing. A bit surprised by that one, very genuinely speaking. As he was straight up just looking forward. I mean, I understand it to that degree that I would expect someone to stand barrel, of course, no doubt about it. But you leave out the left-hand position. It's a little odd. I keep it that way, though. Things are going down to plan. Endpoint pick up the 17th. In regular playtime, they were able to find themselves overall, and that's the interesting part, overall 10 rounds, which was impressive in my eyes. It definitely looked hella decent. If this British roster is still able to find overpass after all the obstacles that they have putting themselves in the way, as well as their opponent doing that, it would be fairly impressive and exactly what they were looking for. Because you were fighting this entire long way, then lose, I mean, 1917 or something like that. It would be heartbreaking for both parties, but for Endpoint as they started so good. And Relegation, we started off good the round as well. Mighty Max fell down. It's all going towards Toilets, while Robin can't move an inch. If so, Helios might find him quite well. Robin knows. Robin finds one. But that is the A site fully opened. Apeks got control of it right now. Surreal takes a lot of time with that. And it seems like the Norwegians might just take the lead. It needs to be one retake by the book from Thomas and Surreal. The British duo charging back onto the site is nobody, not even one player will be close. And the funny part is Surreal still has a smoke. Will identify where the bomb is, will realize what's up. He's just not allowed to fall with that. That's not the smoke you were looking for. That round is done and dusted. This is what killed it. Oh no. Oh, you hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. This was their entry ticket on the site. And Apeks, they're on it. If it's gonna be another overtime or Apeks taking it 1917, this is the round that will tell us. Back on long crucial waits. Back on long crucial will not find anything. Endpoint extremely passive in their setup. Only one really taking risk is Mighty Max. Spot I think in this way has not been played yet. And so Robin comes in with the op, joins crucial on it. So Apeks with only 4 could potentially focus on the B side, which is comparatively badly fortified. It sounds harsh, but Real's gonna see Relegation soon. Gets it out, pops that one smoke. Here comes his molly. That's gonna be all down to the B site. Faction waits for the right time, and with Mighty Max flanking from behind, and he's getting one. This one is costing Apeks a lot. Broussard to remain together with his teammate. 5 versus 2 with 20 seconds. The other overtime is greeting. As that one's not happening. 18-18. Both are still fighting for this. I think, let me see. We were on a 15-7 for Endpoint. We end up in double overtime. Absurd, isn't it? I mean, it really is a bit absurd. Doesn't matter though. Robin finds the first. Man, oh man, he stays aggro. Man, oh man, Robin! Alright, I mean, that one came out of nowhere. He was, like, fed up with that. Found two. Unfortunately, not the third. It would have been too sick, but Apeks most definitely disliking that one. And as Relegation and Co. Crucial, that's your time. Find themselves 3-2-3. Or like a 3v3 situation. Moving back towards B. That's gonna be the move. And Surreal, the only defender of that position. So Apeks changes positions in the last 25 seconds. The last 20. And Mighty Max is coming in from bank. Thomas just nearby, fully blind. And Relegation nearly doesn't find that one. Either way, bomb goes down. Broussard coming in with the plant. And that one shouldn't work for Surreal. He got one flashbang left. A good chance. As Broussard wiggles around it. Now knows where the player is coming from. That's a crucial part. He's still got Truth to support it. And truth to be told, Apeks finds the 19th. Endpoint could not really secure that one. And it's getting real crazy. It's getting real crazy by now. Relegation says, screw it, we're gonna get away from that Molotov and smoke it off. Telius can't hit the flick. Took a bit of damage, and the other one found on sights. Endpoint losing players left, right, and center. And Akis gets the entry onto Monster. This one could work quite well, as it seems a bit absurd that Apeks is playing it hopefully for themselves not 1-by-1 by now. That's the thing. Because you saw with the wiggle, Akis seemed very intrigued to swing a little bit wider than that. As Relegation falls, he swings a little wider and finds two! That's the opportunity a team like Apeks needs. As that B side should be fairly open, even knows where the last player is standing right now, fails the smoke though. Heaven is open. Is Robin finally smoked? Yes. That took a while. Both teams seem to lose a lot of focus right now. A lot of focus. And it's not much room for Endpoint. Our economy is becoming a problem for Crucial as well as for Robin, as they have decided to go for that double AWP setup again and again and again. And that obviously cost them. And it cost them big time. You see it right there. I mean, losing bonus has definitely given them everything. Crucial can buy as much as he wants to. Thomas, everybody's fine. I mean, this is the 16k MR3 overtime we know. The classic, basically. So I'm still not sure if I find this the best one. I think there was a 12.5 once in a while in another league. 10k also used to be a standard. I don't even remember where. It made it a bit more fun to be really taking care of your economy than just buying and buying and buying and buying. But that's not the point for now. That's not what we're talking about. Apeks could get half number 1 for themselves and then would only rely on a single round. As Crucial sees the legs of truth. Could be worth a discussion how this man is still alive. Dodged it as his feet were fast enough. Those boots were made for walking. Surreal and Co feel a little bit more aggressive, and they make that one work. Ready faction down, more coming through Monster, and most definitely Surreal saw that. I think he feels like it. Surreal doesn't see a thing. Second flash, and somehow Surreal is still alive. Can say thank you, Mighty Max, for that one. As again, we're in a 5v2, and the British squad should have no problems closing that one out in their favor. So Grisorn, last man standing. Hardly anything coming his way right now. I mean, you can try yourself, you can try the best in a 1v5, and I mean, this is right now the situation where you get yourself a frag movie. 35 seconds. Roman base turned on. Here's in the background. That's not working. 19 to 20, and Apeks still coming in with a quite good lead into the next one. If you thought you didn't have enough heart attacks by now, don't worry. Vertigo is coming up next. If you're wondering, how did Endpoint look the last 2 times they played on a Vertigo? It was overtime as well. And the mindset of Apeks must be, okay, we saw that Endpoint is struggling on the T site. It's time to finish this. It pretty much is time to finish this. Endpoint setting themselves up in front of B. They don't do their 5-man boost anymore. Celius with a more aggressive stance. Finds Surreal. The entire connector belongs to the Norwegians now. Druve holding it back onto Playground, gives them a free frag on Robin as well, and Endpoints remain with only 3 players. Thomas, though, found a gap. Can he use it? Yes, indeed, to some degree. Mighty Max also joining him in on that one. Yet again, the bomb's not being picked up, and it remains on the man with 6 points of health. That one is pretty much done and dusted. 21 to 19 should be the next one, except this man is going ham, and I don't want to rule it out. From a statistical point of view, this is not happening. Celia is no false. To his left hand side is Grisorn. One shot, he makes that one work. Apeks, a single round they need, and Endpoints, a good run they would need to get themselves into another OT. So Thomas and Co, hopefully for them, it'll be time to bounce back for 2 rounds, but, and realistically speaking, a classic toilet positioning, you see right here, the smoke should land in front of Toilet, exactly. Now I can try to take a bit more control. Akis can't be really refragged from that position. Also, maybe doesn't do himself a big favor if he doesn't even find the initial kill. Steps a lot. Opponent's hurt. That tries to capitalize on it, but it's time to move back. As he realizes that's a fight you don't necessarily want to pick. So real force, crucial down to 11. Seems like Apeks could potentially take this. Finds not only one, yeah, he only finds one part in that one. Endpoint, fast pace, and really fast paced Toilets. That's what they're playing, but I'm not quite sure if that one is going according to plan. As all the nades land, surely it's going to help Endpoint. 100%. That peek from Truth, punished for the right reason. I'm absolutely not a fan of that, because this one was pretty much giving it away. You could have waited for them to go back on site. Faction joins, finds one. No! Oh, Grisarin! Can he do it on his own is the question. Mighty Max back on site, could swing white. This man has the aim for such clutches. He sees where he is. Grisarin changing a different route. Left-hand side, back on long. Mighty Max is waiting. He's still got a flash and a molly. Grisarin doesn't even have a single clue that he's back on long. Nope, free frag for Mighty Max. And at that point in time, Apeks should have pretty much finished this one as well. I mean, I sound maybe a little bit harsh or anything, but from my point of view, Apeks had once more the man advantage and yet again, unfortunately, failed to either deny the plan or retake the site. And it began for me with that one peek behind site from Truth. As this one, you know, this is where you have a man advantage and you let it crumble for a reason. Switching the topic, getting away from that. Apeks once more has the entry. Crucial is out. Marcelius waiting for anyone to come through connector. That ain't happening at the moment. So he's setting themselves up again for either connector positioning, which could work, or a Toilet go. Akis knows. He hears it all. He has all the information needed. Once the smoke fades, he knows where two players stand. Finds the first. Robin down. Not quite sure if they spotted exactly where the bomb is, but moves through. Uses the smoke for himself. Mighty Max is ready for it. Sees him, but now knows where the bomb's going. That one should initiate a rotation. As they now move around, it's two more to go. Faction back on site, should find Surreal. Can do so. 34 points of health for Mighty Max. And Apeks, man, oh man. This took an eternity.